Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I'm Hasan and I want to share a little about my life and journey. I was born in Iran, as my parents had fled from Afghanistan due to the civil war. When I was 5 years old, I returned to Afghanistan with my parents and my 5 brothers, and lived in a small village called Nuqra in Herat province. Here, my 6th brother was born. In my paperwork, my place of birth is Herat, Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, the law sets out that our birthplace and citizenship are reflected as that of our parents. I love learning, and I started school with joy. From the beginning, I did well. Then, from the 3rd grade, it started to get very difficult, as I experienced bullying and discrimination from being from the Hazara and Shia minority. This was hard to cope with because as a child, I had no understanding of the reason for this. However, it didn't stop me from trying to do well at school. In my childhood, I had to help my father with the normal day-to-day life of the village. I couldn't go more than 2 kilometers away from our house. As always, my parents were worried about threats from the Taliban and other extremist groups around. When I was 14, we moved to the city, and I continued to face the challenges due to being in a minority group. School continued to be very difficult. Thankfully, my love of learning continued, and after finishing my high school, I received a scholarship to pursue my bachelor degree in India. In 2013, I proudly completed 2 bachelor's degrees, economics and accounting. In the same year, unfortunately, the kidnappers associated with extremist groups attacked our pharmacy and killed my youngest brother and kidnapped my elder brother. He was released after 30 days. This was an awful time for the whole family, and it is something we cannot recover from. I returned to Afghanistan and I decided to live in another province in a safer area. I was determined to continue on. In 2014, in Kabul, I began my career in administration and finance, working with different national and international organizations. Over the next 7 years, I worked in various finance roles, providing budget, finance, and administration expertise. I changed roles as the projects came to an end. The difficulties of being part of a minority group continued, making it challenging to overcome discrimination and advance my career. For example, in 2020, I was selected as finance director for the Ministry of Public Works, but because of being from a minority group, my paperwork was not processed. During this time, I completed my MBA and also partially completed a certified chartered accountant's qualification. During my career in Afghanistan, I was either a liaison or, in some cases, a direct employee of international organizations funded by NATO nations, and therefore was assisting them to fulfill their mission. This meant I had to change my residential address frequently to ensure my safety and that of my family. The nature of my work and the impact on my safety enabled me to apply for a humanitarian visa, which I received in 2021. My wife, my 3-year-old daughter, and I were excited when we finally landed in Sydney. My wife was 8 months pregnant, and together we now face different challenges. My wife couldn't speak English fluently and needed some care in the hospital. Without a close family here, I had to stay at home with my daughter, and in any case, we had COVID restriction, so my wife was alone in the hospital. We were not familiar with the Sydney and had no car. When my wife was discharged from hospital in the evening, we had to wait for 3 hours to arrange a car with 2 baby seats. We took some time to adjust. I remember at the beginning, my 3-year-old daughter calling out for her grandmother each night, who she missed. As always, I was exploring opportunities for myself and my family. I was talking with everyone and asking for advice about the culture and employment opportunities here in Australia. The majority of people in my community are working in construction, doing painting and other relevant jobs. So everyone was telling me or advising me to start a job in this field. But it was not for me. I applied for many jobs in finance and administration, but all applications were rejected. Only once I was called for an interview, which was not successful. I spoke with a university lecturer who had a refugee background, and he told me that my experience and studies are of no value here, and that I need to start from the scratch. I received the same advice from an employment counselor. I was disappointed and lost confidence. My goal was to again be financially independent. So following advice, I started a nursing course. Though I completed the first semester, I soon realized this wasn't the right path for me. Finally, joined CareerSeekers, and I attended the one-week training course. I learned a lot during this week, particularly about differences in the work environment. My professional journey started when I was successful in getting an internship with Merwag, which has been an amazing experience and opportunity for me and my family. It has changed my life. Financially, I'm feeling relaxed as I'm not dependent on government support. And mentally, I feel more confident and believe in my skills and future. At Merwag, I have learned new softwares, new processes, and procedures. At the beginning, it was a bit challenging, but as Merwag has a supportive working environment, I had learned quickly, and I feel settled and part of the team now. I would like to take the opportunity to thank from the bottom of my heart those who have supported and created this opportunity for me. This includes the Career Seekers team and my colleagues from Merwag. In the future, I aim to establish a charity organization to provide the basic education support for the girls in Afghanistan, to help them to receive the level of education and skills to be able to enroll in scholarships. I wish you all well here tonight, and thank you all for listening to my story. Thank you.